I have to make a clarifying point. Bethany told me that my suggestion to put a potty pad in the hallway of an apartment building was not very good. But let me clarify.
It wasn't
something.
Just me that chimed in on.
So let me say this.
I believe one of our bosses said, "Wow, that was really weird and gross."
Let me put it to you this way: every apartment I've ever lived in has had an outside courtyard. So a hallway to me is uncovered. Like I have access to the sky, and there's even little dirt patches.
Yeah, but not everyone in the world is spoiled rotten.
I know.
Like you are.
So this is my retraction to that piece of advice and a clarification on what I meant by it.
To listen to Bethany.
I will never say that.
I
can never retract to that degree.
But anyway.
Good try though.
Anyway, we're not putting puppy pads in the hallway. That's
for an enclosed building in an apartment complex.
Any building.
All right, guys. Welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show, episode 29. I still haven't memorized that.
And as Ricky is gonna edit that whole first part out.
She better not. That was important.
She repost this.
That was super important.
It's your retraction. Nobody listens to them. You already made the mistake.
Everyone listens to retraction because I'll never make another one ever again. All right. So guys, please post your questions. You can throw them into the chat, TikTok, Instagram. We'd love to see if we answer any of your questions and you have an additional follow-up to that question, please throw it in the chat. We actually really enjoy that because it starts a conversation. It feels more real.
Yep. All right, guys, sorry, did you have something to say?
I was going to throw it your way.
Yes, okay. So we're going to start with an update. First of all,
before we do that.
This is Charger.
And if you guys can't hear us, our mics weren't working last week, so it was a little bit echoey. If it sounds echoey, please, guys, throw it our way. It should sound really, really clean. If it doesn't and you can hear every background noise, let us know.
We're trying to figure it out. It happens. Yeah. All right, Belinda has an update for us. She was dealing with, do you want to help? She was dealing with some separation anxiety. Okay, so Belinda says,
making out with Charger really quick.
I thought I would share a quick update. I don't know. I think my puppy is also going through a phase. We've been able to improve some of the issues. I've learned so much. Thank you, Puppy Academy trainers and the blog. So that's awesome that you're reading the blog. With biting, he's been easily redirected. If not, I put him in his crate and then he'll fall asleep. That could be some frustration, overtired biting then, if that's working. Good job. Toilet training is going so much better, utilizing the potty pad and moving it to the...
You chose Charger.
I know, I did choose.
I said bullet.
No, Elizabeth, one of our trainers chose Charger. I take no responsibility. Ebeth, if you're watching this is your fault. Okay, so she also said that she moved it to a place where he was having some accidents, and she's only had to clean one mess up in a week. You also might want to add more potty pads to the equation, Belinda. You usually don't want to use one or two with a young puppy. You want several.
You want to spread out the space so if he does go potty and he misses the edge, at least gets covered by the next one.
So much of potty training, if you're utilizing puppy pads, is preventing them from being able to go on the floor. Charger, no, settle down. Good boy.
That look.
Oh, dude. The separation anxiety is improving greatly. He's happy to do his own thing. He's also in the playpen some. He's not crying anymore. I can't thank you enough. Due to the lockdowns in Australia, I was unable to get any in-person assistance, so you guys have been a lifesaver. I got your photo of Puppy Bailey. It's so cute. Thank you so much, Belinda, for watching. We really appreciate it. Keep up the good work.
Yep. If you ever see any regression, by the way, a lot of times at that age, how long would you say? Hold. Was there an age or no?
Yeah, there's no age on this one.
You may eventually hit a point of regression too. So if you start seeing that,
it's normal.
Totally normal. As puppies hit adolescence, they regress a bit. It's almost like they pretend to forget everything they know. You reinforce those stricter boundaries for a couple weeks. You get them back in the group. Is that lotion delicious? It's probably
lotion on your tattoo or something?
Yes, there's a lot. Licking. I shaved my arm randomly last night. Just
licking?
Giggles.
Yeah.
All right. Name is Shy. Oh, that's my puppy's name, Shy. All right, name is Shy. Advice on tiring out a 5-month-old Doodle in a small condo. Mental stimulation. That's the biggest one for me. If you're looking for physical exercise, I would do like a fetch or like a tug game. Make sure if you have a really pushy puppy, you're winning more often than not on that tug game. But I like fetch on maybe a long leash, 10, 15-foot long leash, or even just a 6-foot leash. Roll the ball, he grabs it, tell him come. If he doesn't come right away, you can do a little bit of pressure and food motivation to finish it off.
And what's the most important part of fetch, Sparky?
Making sure that he knows how to drop it. on command.
That's the mental stimulation part. You got the physical, you're nurturing drive. You're actually nurturing hunting is what you're nurturing. But when they bring it back to you, you want to really make sure you focus on a good drop it. And then when he mentioned other mental work, put your puppy on a leash, work for all of their food. So if they eat kibble and you don't want to do 500 repetitions, you just use a handful of kibble and you have your puppy work for their food on leash throughout the day. Yeah.
And you guys, you're talking to trainers, so if I'm going to give you any advice, it's going to be to train them more often than not. If you do 20 minutes of play, 5 minutes of training, you're going to nurture too much drive and they'll start pushing other boundaries. Preferably, I would say do 15 minutes of training,
twice.
5 minutes of play.
15 minutes of training twice and 5 minutes of play.
I mean anytime you play, 15 minutes of training before the play or after the play. Anytime I'm doing play, I want to make sure I'm not nurturing more play often than not than training.
Yeah.
So I'm doing more training than I am play, no matter what.
Yep, I agree.
Well, my ratio, 3-to-1 ratio.
I knew the ratio was coming.
It was coming. And then all the commands we worked on before. Check out our Instagram. We have a lot of really great videos. Our YouTube also, ton of great videos. If you're looking for commands to work on, that's what I would check out. You want me to do another one or you want to pop one on your side?
Oh yeah, I'll pop one.
You got some good ones.
My toy poodle, 7 months old. Sometimes I put him in the crate as punishment when he doesn't listen or pees on the carpet. Is that okay to do? From Stella. So here's the thing. Crate shouldn't be used as punishment. It can be used as a breather though. For instance, if Charger is driving me crazy, I will take a deep breath, pick him up and calmly put him in crate.
I think we're getting close to that too.
But it's more to just help you out and give you a breather and make sure you don't act in a frustrated way. Not that you can't do like a valuable NO, that's not what I'm saying. It's more for just being very, very clear about, no, take a breath, don't get mad, pick up, put in crate. But it's not going to help you with the potty training. And so what I mean by that is, if I was to even punish a dog, let's say that you were even going to punish a dog or a puppy for pottying in the house, that does not create a link for them to be like, oh, I should have gone outside. They don't have rationale thought, so they don't string together two thoughts with reasoning. So speaking of a no, hey, no, settle.
I want to jump into, I'm going to tell you my favorite story. It's one of the greatest stories I've ever told because it happened in my second year of dog training. Client asked me, do I rub my dog's nose in poop or pee? I said, no. If you do it, they're going to start hiding it in areas that you don't want them to hide it in.
Yeah, that's because sorry.
A week later, the husband and wife come in and the wife has this big old smile on. The husband's looking at the ground, won't even make eye contact. I said, what happened, guys? She goes, he rubbed the dog's nose in it. I said, so where did he hide it? She goes, in his $8,000 snakeskin boots that he wears once every 3 years. And I said, let's not do that again. And he said, good idea.
Because that is what they'll do. If you just punish and you don't help them create that link, they will go and hide it, and they'll hide it where they feel most comfortable, which is somewhere that they smell you really strongly. Or they might go under the couch or in a corner or something. So anyway, it just won't create that link for you. Whenever a puppy or a dog starts having accidents, if they're not marking by like lifting their leg, like even my small little female dog will like lift her leg, she's crazy. If they're not marking and they're having accidents, that is human error, not dog error. Now, I'm not saying, Stella, that it can't be frustrating, that it's all your fault and you should improve. No, it can be very difficult, very frustrating to figure things out. I just want to make sure that you understand that the dog's not going to improve by being put in crate if you catch them in the act.
So what's the solution we work on? Because is it human error? Yes, but do you have solutions? Absolutely.
Message us for our potty training schedule. DM us and you'll get our potty training schedule. And if your puppy's a little older, this potty training schedule is designed for like 8 to 10 weeks. You can just add a little time to it as your dog improves. One
thing that's not going to be on there though that we always recommend is if you follow that structure schedule, in the beginning it says take them out for potty coming out of crate. If they do not go potty, put them back in crate for another 15 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not a no, it's not a punishment. It's simply redirecting them to an area that's enclosed so they don't feel they need to go potty. That stare scared me a little bit. Thank you, Charger. And eventually you get them back outside. So I've had dogs that will do this for 6 straight hours in the crate for 30 minutes to an hour, go back out for another potty, 3 minutes of standing like a tree, they don't go. Put them back in the crate, and usually on the third or fourth time,
They'll
if
do it.
you have a difficult dog, third or fourth time, they'll eventually pee. I have a client right now that did it all day. She did it the first day. The dog finally went pee after about 5 or 6 hours, and then every day after, easy.
So just use Charger as an example. If I take him out, he's so excited to be out in the big bad world, and he watches the leaf blow by, he can't focus and pee. His system is getting going. And so then I put him back in crate and he settles again, and then he's like, crap, I gotta go. And then he barely can hold it till I get him out again.
It didn't stop the need to go. It just showed him how badly he had to go, and
Yeah.
he should have gone the first time.
Exactly. All right.
I'm gonna go.
Fine. Fun.
Heather J. Ways to stop jumping on people, channeling excitement, 10-month-old Plott Hound Lab mix.
So 10-month-old, so we're getting into older adolescent dog territory. No longer, no longer cute little puppy. I think it's time for Charger to go back to crate.
I think
What do
Charger
you
got fresh
think,
about 5
Charger?
minutes ago, and Bethany got fresh about 10 minutes ago. All right, so stop jumping in on people and channeling excitement. I'm gonna let Bethany take a good portion of this, but you are no longer in puppy territory, so it's no longer a no, come, treat. It's
Sorry. Go
It's-
ahead. I just like to interrupt you any way I can.
you too. It's no longer that sweet little no, come, good treat. Now it's, hey, cut it out, step in front, block, be firm. You can be more firm. In a Plott Hound Lab mix, you're talking a, 10-month-old, 60, 70-pound dog probably by now, unless it's American Lab. But even if it's not, you're still talking 50 to 70-pound dog. You got to be a little bit more firm. Bethany, I know you like to take this one. This is always your turn.
No, I thought you did very well. You did very well.
Do not condescend to me, madam. That's what that feels like.
Condescending. I thought you did very good. Just make sure that you don't think you can use obedience to get rid of the jumping, because you can't, but you do need the obedience to teach the dog the foundation and the alternative to the jumping. So you need both. You need your no, and you need your practice as well.
It means you're addressing and then redirecting.
Yeah.
Address with the block, redirect with the leash guidance over the head, whatever tool you guys are using.
Ooh, I know what to say. Okay, so I just needed a minute. So let me ask you this. Do you think you or anyone in the household or people who come over are accidentally giving the dog an environment to where any dog would jump?
Ooh, are we nurturing it?
Yeah, because it's really not fair to pull your dog out of crate and be like, oh, good morning. Oh, I love you.
Off!
You know, I'm telling the story here.
I know, but you interrupted me. I just
I'm
wanted to get
telling
you
the
back.
story.
That was fun.
And then the dog doesn't jump, so there's no need to say off. And you let the dog out in the yard, and they do zoomies and they play, and maybe you do a little bit of training, and you're like, oh, you're such a good dog. And then later in the day, your husband comes home or your kids come home, and the dog jumps on them. My point is just, I wasn't just being ornery because of you. My point was just that your relationship with the dog, and by you, I just mean humans. Like, what is the relationship between the human species and the dog species in this household? Because if it's a lot of excitement, but then you're getting onto your dog for jumping later in the day, it doesn't make sense. There's no balance there. So you do need to watch how you interact with your dog. Most of the time, it should be calmer praise. The praise shouldn't create a ton of excitement and a ton of wiggles. Most of the time, it should be more calm, more balanced type of praise. And that's why we like food, because it's more payment oriented. Good, give food. And then when you do touch your dog, make it more calm, slow, massage oriented, not, yeah, good job, let's go, are you ready? Because then you're creating a dog that is overstimulated and is gonna jump right then and there or 2 hours later and get in trouble all the time.
So I know a question they're all wondering is, if you were to get a dog out of the crate, how would you get a dog out of the crate without exciting them and going crazy?
Well, I would personally. The dog would stay in the crate till I gave them permission to come out. They can do this at 8 to 10 weeks old if they're drivey dogs. If they're soft, then they don't even try to come out anyway. But if they're pushing to get out of the crate, I can do this at 8 weeks old, no problem. You use the crate door as a threshold to slow the dog down. They have to wait, you keep closing it. I might have to close it firmly. And then I invite them out, and then I do a food routine and do it over and over and over again calmly. So that's one part of it. The other aspect of it, any 10-month-old that lives in my house for any reason, whether it's my own dog or training, that dog never comes out of crate without a leash on. So it's paws, open the door, stares at the open door without getting out. Then I calmly put a leash on the flat collar, or I like slip leashes, and for a 10-month-old, 70-pound dog. And then they pause again, and then I calmly invite them out. And if they take my arm off, which definitely happens a lot, they turn around and they go back in crate. And we do it 3-4 times until they exit crate more calmly. And then you're teaching your dog the expectations and how you want them to behave from the moment they wake up. That's what you guys need to be doing with your adolescent dogs if you're having these types of energy issues.
And guys, this pushiness sometimes can happen overnight. I have a dog right now that I worked this morning. I could tell you easily 2 weeks ago, one of the best crate dogs I've ever worked with. This morning I put the leash on, tried to run past me and jump over my shoulder to get out of that crate.
When you were squatting down?
Oh yeah, she succeeded.
She succeeded.
You best believe that dog went right back in the crate. And then our whole training session was spent coming out, going back in calmly, opening door, waiting, being released, coming out calmly and sitting, and going back in. Did I let the dog go potty first? Absolutely, because I wasn't trying to promote potty accidents. But after she went potty, back and forth in that crate over and over and over again.
I can't believe you let that dog get one up on you.
I know, don't rub it in.
I mean, how long have you been doing this? Couldn't you see it coming?
Too long. I saw the look and I was like, she just wants to come give me kisses. Just a kiss. Just a kiss.
Whoops.
It wasn't a kiss. It was
Right.
not. Well, I want to go one more because this actually feeds into what you were just saying. I got to relate them. TikTok, I got you guys.
Fine.
Sydney Nolan, help. My 4-month-old will not stop jumping up, getting so excited to see people, pushing him down over and over. Is it working? What do I do?
4 months. So let's be clear. We had a 10-month-old. Now we have a 4-month-old. There's a huge difference in age and how we handle this stuff. Okay, go.
I like to do kind of a 3-strike rule. So first strike is, I guess I wouldn't do 3-strike rule for this because you got to address it a little bit more. If I have a dog jumping, young dog, one, I'd have a leash on, so I always have control. If I'm going to step into this dog, just stepping in and giving a nudge with the knee may not be enough because you have a lot of high energy, but also I'm not trying to nudge a dog that's only 4 months versus my 10-month.
There's a difference between body blocking that's a little bit of firm direction versus more of a correction, which would be for a 10-month-old dog. For a 4-month-old dog, it's more about just a little bump and like, hey, sit, good. It's like an immediate redirection, which is why he mentioned the leash. That's really important for dogs under 6 months old when you're dealing with behavioral issues. Go ahead.
That was it. You took the whole answer.
You're welcome.
I'm taking another one.
Here, you take. Oh, you've got those.
I've got more. All right. Ooh, nope, not taking that one. Go to that one.
Okay, Wilson. That's my last name. And Lilikoi. I think I did it right. It's a cute name,
Lilikoi.
even if I got it wrong, which I think I did.
No, Lilikoi. That's good.
Eight. Boy, I've got a lot of adolescent dogs today. 8-month-old Golden has a high-pitched bark. Ugh. When she wants her older sister to play with her. Sometimes carries over when she wants to get our attention. Hey, I'm gonna give this one to you. Any tips?
Sounds like you're dealing with some demand barking.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. Is your younger dog in charge of the situation of trying to play with the older dog, and are you expecting the older dog to then correct her for it? Because if so, you're putting too much power.
Too much pressure
to your
on
older
the
dog. Yeah, thing. Pressure to the older dog and giving too much power to the younger dog. The minute I get that high-pitched bark, I'm going to ask myself, why does she have control over that situation? I'm going to eliminate that control. I put her on a leash, harness leash, or what kind of dog was it? Does it say?
Golden. That's why
Golden.
I gave it to you.
I'm putting collar and leash attached to the collar. I want a little bit of head control. I'm not expecting you to yank her off or anything, but just being able to guide her away from the situation, block, and put yourself in between her and the older dog. I want to limit that interaction. I want to be able to step in, take control over it, and then redirect her away. Most dogs at that age, if I'm getting demand barking or demanding behavior in any way, I'm not giving them freedom to make those decisions. Yeah. I'm going to guide them away, give a little bit more structure.
That's the tricky part, is not giving them freedom to do it. Now let me kind of pose this as a question. So, because we don't know, so I'm just being hypothetical. If the other dog is playing with the younger dog when she barks, she's rewarding the demand barking.
I like it. Okay? Devil's advocate.
Nice. Now is that a bad thing? Like, do you care? If your Golden doesn't really play with other dogs and only plays with the older pack mate, then maybe it's not that big of a deal. As long as you can enter in and be like, hey, enough is enough, come back in the house. Is it really that big of a deal? You want to make sure it doesn't happen to you. That's important. But if it's happening between the two dogs, and the older dog likes it and then plays with her, she's rewarding the barking. So you really have to kind of figure this out, what you want to, what you want to reward, what you don't want to reward, and just kind of keep that in mind.
So let's frame this. Tips. Leash, be able to guide your younger dog out of the situation. Maybe even just a firm, hey, hey! Break it apart, let them separate a little bit, put your body in between, walk towards your young puppy. Older dog comes, older dog comes behind you, still trying to play, block both of them. You can't just address the puppy, you're controlling the entire situation and advocating for whatever dog is in the challenging situation.
Dog psychology, baby.
You got it.
All right, I'm gonna do one that's on here because I think it's a really plain question that's a really good question. Cody Joe says, how can you teach a dog not to bark? Now, I'm gonna assume that this dog is under 1 year old, and I'm going to go into my story thing, and then you can maybe give them actual tips that will help them at home.
Before we do that, Rick, can you check the YouTube really quick? Make sure it didn't shut off.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Okay, so how can you teach a dog not to bark? Again, I'm going to assume this dog is under 1 year old. You can't, in my opinion, you can't really teach a dog not to bark. Barking is a very instinctual genetic thing. Some dogs bark a lot instinctually, some don't. Some never bark until they hear another dog bark, and then you can't get them to shut up. So I don't have the context of when this dog barks, but if you're just talking about general barking, it does matter. Is it barking on a walk, reactivity? Is it being territorial of the home? Is it demand barking towards you? Now, even though you can't just magically stop a dog from barking, just teach the dog to never bark, even though that's not really a thing, okay, per se, you can lessen the barking by training and getting onto your dog, for lack of a better term, not feeding into it, correcting the dog, redirecting the dog. That's the key. And we were kind of talking about this earlier with the jumping. You can't just say no. You also have to do a lot of foundational work to teach your dog what you want them to do instead. So they have to have both parts of the equation. So we've both worked with a lot of intense barkers, really intense barkers, where they will always bark. But what you can do is teach them how to stop barking when you ask them to. That is your goal with the really intense yappy dogs. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, I was just trying to make notes so I can keep up with it. I made notes. I did. I forget quickly. So go off what she said. Think of barking as an abundance of energy. Think of your dog as this pile of energy, and when the energy doesn't have a good channel to go into, it kind of just explodes into behaviors like barking or jumping or any of the other things that we talked about. So to help that energy have a good place, I try to give it a channel. Come, sit, down, stay,
a channel
heel.
Is a good way to put it.
Yeah, because all of your commands, every command that you give, that is a channel for energy to go into that eventually defaults to it. So let's cover some of the topics she said. Walking in the yard, playing. If I'm walking my dog and she's barking, I'll try to correct the bark if it's an older dog, or redirect the bark by getting control over the head if it's a younger dog, meaning that I might step in front, walk into them a few steps, get them to pay attention to you, and then come back to their side and walk the opposite direction or even bubble out.
If you wanted to build food drive with a puppy under 6 months old, you want to wean off, it can be great momentarily, but wean off of it as quickly as possible so they don't associate barking with a redirection and food. But you can do that to get a little leverage with really young puppies.
Thank you. Yard, that's completely different. Are we giving our puppy freedom to be in the backyard? Are we creating a territory in that yard? Because if a dog just runs up and down a fence all day long, they've created a territory along that fence line. They hear a sound, they see a squirrel, they hear a dog barking from 2 blocks away. They're going to react to that and bark back to it.
That's how you create a guard dog, is giving them space.
And by the way, most guard dogs that aren't professionally trained to be guard dogs are not very good guard dogs, because all they do is create anxiety and reactivity to every little sound they hear, but when someone actually breaks into that yard, they're running for the hills. They're not protecting your yard.
And then there's also like the typical lab and retriever breed that are excellent alert dogs. So they don't even have the guard dog mentality, but they get very intense with alerting if that's not capped very early.
And you're promoting it if you allow them to bark in the backyard like that.
Right.
So on that one, Don't give them free access to the backyard. If they're in the backyard, you're out there with them and you're controlling the energy, whether it's with a 20-foot long leash that you can redirect them away from the barking and then do a short training session to bring down the energy and give it a channel. Last one is the play. Play is usually demand barking. Bark, 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 play with me. It goes off of what our last question was. If you're getting that, control the situation, and you might have to break up both dogs from playing, redirect some of that energy, bring it down, even just give a short little break where you do 10 minutes of place, let the energy settle down, and then release them to play again, and just have more control over the play. That's all I got.
Okay, no, that's good. We're gonna move on. Eon. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm sorry. Ian and Amy. I'm weird. What can I do for an 8-week-old Aussiedoodle that cries when anyone leaves the room? Well, let's make sure you're doing a crate rotation schedule. This is really common. Puppies do not know how to be left alone. They just got plucked from all of their siblings and their mom. So let's make sure we've got them a nice warm area, an enclosed crate that feels like a den, maybe a humidifier, fan, TV playing, things like that to help to help create some white noise. And the other thing is, don't cuddle the dog like crazy whenever they're outside of crate, because why would they ever learn how to be independent and confident and alone if every time they come out you're like, oh, come here baby, let me carry you outside.
I want to add to it.
So
I'll let you read those too.
Okay, so wait, I wasn't done.
We don't have much time.
I wasn't done.
Okay, go. Sorry.
And so just make sure that you go ahead and start doing food work and constructive work and building that relationship. But I had an important but that I had to get to. But even if you do everything perfect, your puppy's gonna whine for the next 2 weeks. So let them, make sure you don't spoil them, teach them how to be alone, get them on a schedule that they can start to depend on, and that builds confidence. And genetically, sometimes dogs are going to be more whiny than others. So even if you do everything right and you have some struggles, come back to us next week, the next week, the next week. We're not going anywhere, and let us know how it's going.
Also, going off that schedule that she mentioned, please direct message us and we'll send you one. We have a specific time after they come out of crate and give the potty where we call it free time. Free time we break up into training, walking, play, and also something called supervised separation. To me, that's a huge time. Bethany likes putting them on a leash, but I think it can be a little bit challenging for a really young puppy. What I like to do for like my 12-week and younger dogs, my really small ones, I set up a playpen, I put them in the playpen, and I teach them how to exist around me within the same room. You leave the room, you're still gonna get that barking. But it's okay for them to be 5 feet away from you in a playpen, watching you.
Ignore them.
Yes.
Totally ignore them.
No look, no talk,
They're
no
furniture.
touch.
That's so important.
That's, okay.
They're furniture.
I like that, I like that.
Yeah. Okay, can I go on to the next one?
Go.
Brenda, because this one's really good. Puppy is nipping ankles, putting whole mouth and mouthing, biting my baby's arm and feet. Currently, we have to keep them both separated. What should I do? The Labradoodle is 4 months old. Okay, Brenda, don't be mad at me, okay? Please don't be mad at me. I say this with so much love in my heart. There are very few 4-month-old puppies that can be around a baby. No, they cannot be around each other. I'm not trying to burst your bubble, but no, it's
a
bad.
baby is basically a really submissive
bad.
puppy to them, and they're gonna jump on that puppy's face.
Yep. Your Labradoodle's not bad. You haven't done anything bad. Well, maybe you have. I don't know. But
we're gonna go off the assumption that you haven't, Bethany.
Babies and puppies do not mix. They don't mix. What you can do is when your baby is in its own playpen scenario, you can work with your puppy outside of the playpen, focusing on you. And then your puppy takes a nap, and then that's when the baby is getting some free time crawling around doing your thing. And you probably need more structure with your 4-month-old Doodle, meaning they don't need so much out time. They don't need so much free time. I think that's probably really important. But if the puppy does happen to be free, it should be dragging the leash around. And then if you're changing a diaper or something like that, or holding or doing other things that mothers do that I won't get into and embarrass Sparky. And so whenever you're doing those things, if that Doodle's not up, which it should be, but if it's not, it's out on a leash and you block no, pick up the leash and kind of just move them away.
I even like to step on the leash too. Prevent the jumping just by stepping on it.
Yeah, and you got to use your body. You got to use your body language and leash. This is important. But honestly, I think you need more structure. And if you've got a baby and a puppy, then you've got a lot on your plate right now. So really try to give that puppy 10 minutes a day of quality time without the baby around, and then maybe 5 to 10 minutes a day when the baby is in the playpen, also working around the baby. So the puppy gets 5 to 10 minutes quality time, no baby, 5 to 10 minutes quality time, baby in confined space.
Try to make it so your crate schedule and your baby schedule don't coincide every single time.
That's so cute. That's so funny that you said that. If it's truly a baby, they're on their own schedule.
Okay, I don't know much about babies.
He doesn't know either.
I really don't. Well, all I know is that I have 2 clients right now.
Do your best.
That they're not newly borns, but they're like, I think they're like 3 months old babies, and they have a young puppy as well. And they basically try to, whenever the baby is asleep, that's when the puppy comes out of the crate, gets 10-15 minutes of training, baby cries and is awake. So I'm kind of on the same page, sort of. I don't know much about him, but I know enough. That's when puppy goes back into the crate. When the baby wakes up, but you still got 10-15 minutes of training in there, your structure schedule just isn't as tight as we would give to someone that didn't have a baby.
Yeah.
That's okay. You still have time to train your puppy, play, and do supervised separation.
We get to go over time because we didn't answer the question. Which one is it? Which did we not answer?
This is the one that...
The double one.
The double one.
Yep.
Oh, it's one person. Okay.
We're going to do this one.
But it's the same person.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Keep up.
Highlight it together.
Keep up.
Is that why you highlight them together?
4-month-old Labrador, yellow lab. How do I stop resource guarding? Oh no, but he won't drop it, leave it, growls, snaps when I try to take a leaf away. Oh dear, that stinks. So some of this is a genetic component, so it doesn't mean that you did anything horribly wrong, and it doesn't mean that your puppy is a bad puppy. There is a genetic component here. Some dogs, puppies, temperaments are more likely to resource guard than others. With that being said, Sparky, take it away.
No, I wasn't going to go over it. I was going to save it for next week.
She needs help now.
This is a huge can of worms.
She needs help now. Okay, so...
You're taking that one.
Oh, I'll help.
That's your can of
I got
worms.
you. I got you. Kelly, I got you. So this is what you need to do. About a million things, but let's start with just a few. First of all, stop taking stuff out of your puppy's mouth. That creates a resource guarding dog. No, not in every dog, but we've come across it before. Sweet, wonderful dogs with very few issues, and they have resource guarding issues. And then we find out that all through puppyhood, they love to steal things and take things and run away, and the humans would go grab it out of the mouth. So let them eat a leaf. Let him eat some of these things.
Or be more preventative.
You said you didn't want to talk.
You're right. It's yours.
So you just let me do this.
By all means.
So it'll build immunity, all right? Let him eat a leaf, okay? So really only get something out of his mouth if you absolutely have to. Now, I'm gonna do a different scenario. Let's say it's a toy or it's something that they picked up, a sock. This puppy needs to be dragging around a leash at all times because you do not want to reach for that head. You know how much pressure this is? That's a lot of pressure, okay? It's a lot of pressure. So what I want you to do the next time something like this happens is you're gonna very calmly walk over to your dog, and they might jet off, and then you're gonna calmly walk over to the dog again until they're cornered, and you're going to not go right at the dog, you're gonna go at the end of the leash. So your body is not directly facing the dog. It's probably more like this, more passive. So the dog doesn't feel challenged, even a 4-month-old puppy. And you're going to step on the end of the leash. Then you're gonna pick it up and you're not gonna go anywhere near that mouth, even if you have to untwist it around a leg. And then you're gonna do pressure straight up in the air. And you're just gonna calmly wait till your dog drops the dangerous thing, okay? That's only in a bind. That's only if you're absolutely in a bind and you have to get something out of his mouth. There's another, kind of like he mentioned, another thing that you need to be doing 98% of the time, which is working on a drop it. So go on YouTube, watch the top 5 videos for how to teach a dog to drop it. We have one. I don't know where it is, but we do have one. Is it somewhere specific? TikTok, Instagram.
It's everywhere.
But it'd be hard to find. It'd be hard to find though. But anyway, we like to just use tug toys and then wait the dog out, teach them to let go. But there's a lot of different methods you could use. You could use toy trades, food, stuff like that.
We actually did that one like a month ago. So
you need to work on that a lot every day, 5 to 10 minutes a day. Not throwing. I'm not talking about fetch. I'm talking about giving the dog a toy and then you get it back, and then you give it and you take it back. The other thing is start doing recalls not into the kitchen, but into an area of the house where there's food close by. So maybe there's a treat jar or something like that, and you just practice 10 repetitions a day, not spread out, but condensed into a 5-10 minute session where the dog is bored. Maybe you can toss a treat, out. The dog gets a treat. Call them to you for food. Call them to you for food. Within a few weeks, if your puppy grabs a stick in the yard, you might be able to run into the house, leave the door open, and go, puppy, come. Vroom, vroom, vroom. They run inside, they sit for a treat, and they got to drop their stick. We've got to find ways to become less combative. There are other ways to work on resource guarding, but your puppy is too young for those things. So right now, it's about being less combative, preventative, and teaching alternative ways for your puppy to drop things. Okay, so hopefully that helps, and I think we're done, right?
Way over.
You said I could go over.
I know.
You said I could.
So.
It was a big question.
Told you.
I'm glad we did it.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks
We'll
for joining
see
us,
you next
guys.
week, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Wednesday.